It tells the story of World War II and uses an emphasis on documentary narration. The seeds of the war were sown in the aftermath of World War I. The harsh terms imposed on Germany by the Treaty of Versailles deeply wounded national pride and paved the way for the rise of the National Socialist Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler. The 1930s saw the rise of expansionist, authoritarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan. The policy of appeasement by Western democracies only served to postpone the storm. Hitler's invasion of Czechoslovakia in March 1939 made war inevitable. On September 1, 1939, using the staged Gleiwitz provocation as a pretext, the German army attacked Poland. The new and devastating tactic of Blitzkrieg, lightning war, was unleashed. The Luftwaffe quickly destroyed the Polish Air Force. Panzer tank units tore through Polish lines. On September 3, Great Britain and France declared war on Germany. However, the subsequent phony war on the Western Front failed to help Poland. With the Soviet Union joining the invasion from the east on September 17, Poland was completely partitioned by October 1939. The fall of Northern and Western Europe. In the spring of 1940, Hitler turned west. Denmark and Norway were invaded for strategic reasons in April 1940. In May 1940, German forces invaded the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg to open the path to France. While the Allies expected the main thrust through Belgium, the German panzer divisions executed a surprise maneuver through the Ardennes forest, a heavily wooded area thought impassable for tanks, outflanking the main Allied armies. This sickle cut trapped the Allied forces near the English Channel. Over 338,000 soldiers were miraculously evacuated from Dunkirk in Operation Dynamo, aided by a civilian fleet, though all their heavy equipment was lost. In June 1940, France surrendered and was divided into a German-occupied zone and the collaborating Vichy France. Great Britain, left alone in Europe, stood defiant under the determined leadership of Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Hitler's plan to invade Britain, Operation Sea Lion, first required gaining air superiority. The Battle of Britain, fought during the summer and autumn of 1940, was history's first major campaign fought entirely by air forces. The Royal Air Force, RAF, successfully repelled the Luftwaffe, forcing Hitler to indefinitely postpone the invasion. On June 22, 1941, Hitler violated all agreements and launched Operation Barbarossa against the Soviet Union. This massive front, involving millions of soldiers, became the war's most brutal and decisive theater. The Germans advanced rapidly, but fierce Soviet resistance and the early onset of winter stopped them just short of Moscow. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor in the Pacific. This brought the United States into the war, escalating the conflict to a global scale. The sides were now clearly defined as the Allies, UK, US, USSR, and the Axis, Germany, Italy, and Japan. The Battle of Stalingrad, 1942-1943, the Red Army's heroic defense in Stalingrad led to the encirclement and forced surrender of the German Sixth Army. This marked the end of the German advance on the Eastern Front and the start of the Soviet drive west. The Battle of El Alamein, 1942, British General Montgomery's victory, broke the German-Italian power in North Africa. The Battle of Midway, 1942, the U.S. Navy destroyed Japanese aircraft carriers in the Pacific, ending Japanese naval dominance. In 1943, the Allies invaded Sicily and then the Italian mainland. Benito Mussolini was overthrown and Italy surrendered, forcing Germany to commit troops to a new southern front. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched the largest amphibious operation in history, the D-Day, Normandy landings, reopening the Western Front. Following the successful landings, the Allies advanced rapidly, liberating Paris in August 1944. The last major German counteroffensive, the Battle of the Bulge, December 1944, was repulsed. By the spring of 1945, the Red Army was closing in from the east and the Western Allies from the west. After bloody street fighting, Soviet soldiers entered Berlin. On April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. On May 7, 1945, Germany surrendered unconditionally. The war in Europe was over, celebrated as VE Day. Despite the end of the war in Europe, Japan's fierce resistance continued in the Pacific. The U.S. estimated that a mainland invasion would cost millions of lives. President Truman decided to employ a new and terrifying weapon to force a swift end to the war, the atomic bomb. On August 6, 1945, the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. On August 9, 1945, the second atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. These attacks, combined with the Soviet Union's entry into the war against Japan, compelled them to surrender. On September 2, 1945, Japan officially signed the surrender documents aboard the USS Missouri. World War II had concluded. World War II was the greatest catastrophe in human history, resulting in an estimated 60 to 80 million deaths. Its aftermath defined the modern world. The Holocaust, the horror of the systematic genocide of over 6 million Jews and other groups by the Nazis, was revealed to the world. United Nations, UN, was established to prevent future global conflicts. The Cold War, the ideological and geopolitical tensions between the Allies, US and USSR, quickly escalated, plunging the world into decades of the Cold War, dividing the world into Eastern and Western blocs.